Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time I'm going to be showing you this. Now this is a Game Boy Advance SP and it's not your everyday Game Boy Advance SP. This is, I believe, the best Game Boy Advance SP that money can buy. It's got an improved screen with 9 levels of brightness. It's got a custom flash chip inside, a cartridge here, which you can load complete libraries for Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, even the Nintendo NES on. And it just looks absolutely fantastic. So that is what we're going to be having a look at today. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Okay, so let's look at this bit by bit. So basically, first of all, we have, this is the limited edition Famicom, which was the Japanese Nintendo Entertainment System shell for this Game Boy Advance. And if you look on the back, this has got the code AGS001. This was never one of the ones which was a 101 model, which came with the extended sort of backlit screen. Now that's because this particular one I have bought from a dealer on eBay, and what this particular dealer does, you can have a choice of about 8 different cases. So you've got like a SpongeBob one, there's a Mario one with his hat on, you can have a few different colors, you can have this like Famicom limited one, which is the one I went for, you can have one with the NES colors on. And what this chap does, he takes the shells and strips them down, cleans them. He puts a brand new battery inside as well. And then he replaces the screen, because when these first came out, they weren't backlit and they weren't that great, to be honest. But then the second model came along, which was backlit, and you could adjust the screen to 3 different shades of darkness. Or brightness as it were, and he's changed it, so he's put a brand new custom IPS screen in, which has got 9 levels of brightness, if you can believe. So I bought one of these from him, and I'll show you, I'll put a link down below to this chap's eBay listings, because he does these all the time. And when it arrived, it came along with this original from the period Game Boy Advance case. I actually had one of these back in the day when I had a Game Boy Advance. It's got your power lead there, your power charger, and your actual Game Boy Advance slips into there. And you've got room for a few bits and bobs and accessories in the lid there. But that was, I thought, really, really good. So that was the first thing. But I thought, well, that's all well and good, but I don't have a massive collection of Game Boy games anymore. I've got some, of course, but I haven't got that many. So I did a bit more research, and then I came across this. Now this is called Easy Flash. Now once again, I bought this one off eBay, and what this does, here is the actual Easy Flash cartridge itself, and it's like a Game Boy Advance style cartridge that goes into here. But if you notice on the side there, it's got room for a little SD card. Now I have put just a 32 gigabyte SD card in mine, and that would hold every single Game Boy game that was ever published, ever released. You could probably get away with a 16 gigabyte one, to be honest. So what you do, you go to the Easy Flash website, Easy Flash Omega, you download 3 bits of software and you just drag them to your memory card, and then you decide what games you want to put on it. I certainly haven't put them, I'll just put a few selected classics that I like on my memory card. It's worth pointing out that the Game Boy games have to be in .gb, Game Boy Color games need to be .gbc, and Game Boy Advance games .gba, and .nes for Nintendo Entertainment games. They will not work with the zipped up folders. So when you've got those on your memory stick, you pop it in there, and then you securely pop it in, and it's a nice flush unit. Really, really great. You turn it on, So you turn on the side here. So there we are. So you get the Easy Flash Omega, and this is their sort of title screen. And I'll try and do this so we don't get too much reflection in the picture while we're going through this. So you can download cheap files for all the different systems if that's what you want to do, and you can install those. You then create your own folders. So you've got a Game Boy folder, a Game Boy Advance, there we are, Game Boy Color. You download images, so you can have, if you choose Game Boy Advance, you can actually have box art and pictures from the games, and then you've got the kernel, which is the original sort of program that runs it all. So if we choose initially, then we'll have a little blast through some of these. So if we have a look at the original Game Boy, now I've got 172 original Game Boy games on here, and you can scroll page-wise by just hitting right like this, which is cool. So what we'll do, we'll have a little look at a few Game Boy games, right? Just a little brief look and see what you think. So should we do R-Type? It's good, isn't it? It's a good game. So clean boot, which means we're going to load it without any sort of modifications. Now, even though it was an original Game Boy one, the system picks up that it is a Game Boy car, so it emulates it into colour for us, which is good. Now you've got the volume switch on the side here. So I've just turned it down a touch. And as you know, the Game Boy Color has various like colour palettes that you can use. This has automatically chosen this one. So let's not forget, we are playing an original Game Boy game here. So we're not expecting anything too amazing. But as you can see, it's totally playable, even though I'm a little cack-handed because I'm playing this through a viewfinder. Oh, there we are, dead already. And obviously with some of these games, particularly the RPGs, you're going to want to save your position in the game, which you can do, of course. And you can load in positions later on. So if it's a particularly hard bit, you can just quickly save the game and come back to it. So you do that by pressing both shoulder buttons at once. And then you can save it, save state, load state. Put it into sleep mode. You've got the option to put on auto fire, particularly good on a game like this. If we turn auto fire on, that should make this one pretty good. Right. Who remembers Tetris then? Probably the most iconic game to come out for the Game Boy, original Game Boy ever, I guess. Brilliant, wasn't it? And the thing is, even on a 16GB card, you can just go to town. You can have literally thousands of games on there. So why wouldn't you? Just realised how bad I am at Tetris. Certainly gave this one a few blasts over the years. Did you? That's the one I've been waiting for. There we are. I've got it all under control. I don't know what you're worried about. Anyway, that's classic Tetris. Should we have one more? Just one more classic Game Boy game, then we'll look at some Game Boy Colors. Street Fighter 2. Okay. Well, I think you get the idea. So as you can imagine, everything plays absolutely fine. We're playing on original hardware, so there's nothing that can go wrong. It's just great. So I think that's enough looking at the original Game Boy, and I think we really need to have a look at some Game Boy Color games now, where everything amped up a bit. So let's have a look at those now. And we all know a bit of Bubble Bobble. We know exactly what's going on here, don't we? It's not the classic arcade game, but it's the same principle. And what I want to do is just show, you know, about 5 or 6 games on each system. And this is obviously nice and bright and exactly what you would expect. So this is Bubble Bobble. So Shantae is one of those games that looks absolutely fantastic, I have to say. And it's quite a tough little platformer when you get through the first little level. Once you get through the first level, then you're sort of in a town area and you have to kill each pirate. Well, not kill, but you know, basically disable each pirate. That's the initial bit. You just have to get over this bridge, which is actually a bit harder than it might initially look. Now, as I said before, this particular modified Game Boy Advance has had a brand new screen fitted, which comes with 9 different levels of brightness. So I've got it switched up on the highest level for filming today, but you really don't need that. A couple down is absolutely fine. And when you are playing this, if you are concerned about your battery, then that would be the thing to do, is have it on one of the lower brightness settings. So if you have a look, that's dark. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 levels of brightness. So what we're on now is the brightest level. So this is just setting up the story, basically. The pirate's talking to Shantae. Absolutely fantastic stuff. So Shantae, yeah, she's Scuttletown's genie. So that's where we're heading to now, which is Scuttletown. And when you think when this game came out, the graphics are just beautiful. So our next job, we have to find these pirates. There's one there. She only has one weapon, and that's her hairdo. Oh, damn. Come on, come on, come on. So those big cannonballs will drop at random. You have to remember to look out for them. Such a great platformer, this. I think you'll love it. That's why it's so collectible nowadays, because it's a great game and scarce. For some reason, it just never really sold at the time. Maybe they marketed it incorrectly and it was more looking towards the young female audience. But I'm sure there'd be lots of boys who would enjoy this one. As do I. And there is another one which you really want to look out for called Wendy It's called Wendy Every Which Way, and that's made by the same people who did Shantae, and it's a bit of a hidden gem, whereas most people know about Shantae nowadays. But yeah, Wendy Every Which Way, give that one a try as well. It's another great one. Anyway, that's the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color. I don't want this video to go on for hours, so we'll stop there and we'll have a look at some Game Boy Advance games. I've not bothered putting any NES games on, but I have got plenty of Game Boy Advance games on here. So one which I absolutely love, and I've played it before on my channel, it's called X versus Severa. Now you'll notice when we go through the list here, I've got a little preview of the games. You see that? Which is quite nice. But yeah, X versus Severa. And what this one was, this was like a first-person shooter, and you have to try and go through each level as quickly as possible before the timer runs out. It was based on a movie, I believe, that completely bombed, but the game did really well, and even had a sequel, in fact. But this is another, what I would definitely call a bit of a hidden gem. So this is using the full screen now, because it is designed for the GBA originally. And it's got a built-in soundtrack. Listen to that. Oh, it's brilliant, isn't it? Each time you do a level, you can get a password which will save you doing that level again. You can play as X or Severa. Right, after a bit of a long intro, we're there, we're ready to rock and roll. And basically, anyone you see, you want to kill. Including these fat guards. Go. Oh. Come on. Want to find the shotgun, don't we? Like that. Oh yeah. A one hit. Oh, and a med pack. That was quite handy, wasn't it? Right. I'm already a bit lost. Awesome. Okay, I think we're heading in the right direction. Oh yeah. And it's, as I said, first person shooter. No, that's the way we've come. Through here. As I said, time is of the essence. I think we're quite close. This is the control room. Did it. So there you go. You get the idea of what X versus Severa is like. And there you go. If you play this, you just need to put in Severa, and that's your passport to the next level. Good stuff. Right. So this is better than it would have been back in the day, but it's running on original hardware, just with the upgraded screen. So we'll have a blast of this. But we better make this one the last one. I don't want this video going on too long. But as you can see, everything runs just beautifully. You know? The interface is takes a little bit of time to get used to, don't get me wrong, but when you have got used to it, it's absolutely fine. And when you think on this little Game Boy Advance SP here, you can virtually have, well, you can have every game that was ever made for the Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance and the NES in your pocket, running on original hardware. To me, it doesn't get much better than that. So if you fancy getting one of these yourself, as I said, I'm going to put links down below to the eBay dealer who I bought mine off. As I said, he does these for a living. He sells lots of retro stuff, and they come in 8 different cases. So I got this Super Famicom one, which is really cool. Appeals to my retro nature. But he's got many others out there which you can have a play with. Final lap. If you want to get the Easy Flash Omega, so you can run all your games from the memory card. Really, really easy. I mean, 2 minutes to install. Just go to the Easy Flash website, download the kernel, download the cheap file if you want to do that, and the images, and then just whack them all onto your card along with your unzipped ROMs. I can't stress that enough. And I'll put a link to the Easy Flash card as well. And then that's it. And then you just need a little memory card from Amazon. As I said, a 16 gig one will do you. And they're peanuts. They're like 6-7 quid for one of those now. And as I said, I've used this chap before. He's really good. My game turned up in an original Game Boy Advance case with the chargers, everything that you're going to need. And it was absolutely pristine, brand new. So really, really good and highly recommended. So there we go. So if you have enjoyed this video, do please give it a like. Do please consider subscribing for regular retro gaming content. And I shall look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.